This is Louis, and I hope you're enjoying this summer. Be sure to head on over to Play Asia and pick yourself up something from over there. Or if not there, head on over to J-List and maybe pick yourself up a refreshing Japanese beverage. I'm not really sure why you'd import a beverage, but you should do it anyways. And if you don't want to do either of those two things, head on over to my Patreon account and support me there. And while I have you here, let's just take a minute to enjoy the beauty of this summer, of nature. Listen to the waves lapping on the beach, listen to the breeze, listen to the birds. Just look at those trees, look at that beautiful weather. And you know, this really takes me back. It's really nostalgic, really nostalgic in a way that, you know, I really have to say isn't anything really good. You know, it takes me back to a time which wasn't a good time in my life, where I had brothers in arms dying in the shit for fucking nothing, man. And there was a cost. There was no cheap plastic shit brought in by the Japanese. No, man, we paid a heavy toll for that fucking plastic pussy. I lost friends for that poontang. All the links as described are in the description. So this is Louis, and this is going to be the third take, and I hope the final of this video, and it is very hot, and I'm going to actually take off my fucking shirt. Take off my fucking shirt, because it's fucking hot. I'm trying to record this unscripted video, and I had somebody, actually two people, send me this extra credits video, and I'll get to the things that I pointed out in previous takes, that this channel has 1 million plus fucking subs, that this video has 100,000 views, how that confuses me, the fact that I have not watched pretty much any of this video outside of, I made it 19 seconds in before, and I haven't been screaming, by the way, I've just been fucking up these takes and going off on tangents when I really don't need to be. But this is going to be an unscripted response to this, and it's already, you know, and I'll say this, okay? People ask me, why don't I do responses to this channel? And it's like, okay, listen, nothing that they have published that has been sent to me, and I've had plenty of people send me these videos. Like, I've had at least a dozen or so sent to me this year, at a minimum, a dozen or so, by different people. We're talking just different videos sent by scores of people. And I don't know why. Like, I just think that people want me to get angry at this channel and to not like them. And it's like, yeah, I don't like them. All they do is produce shitty propaganda videos pushing progressive ideology. You know, you can say that this is about gaming. It's not. I mean, even in this video, I already know. Like, I know it just by watching what I've seen so far. Where it's going to go, what it's going to say, what's going to be offered. It's going to be the same shit again and again. It just, there's nothing new here for me to cover. People listening to this saying like, wow, maybe I should just click off the video. You probably should. You probably should just click off this fucking video. You know, there's nothing here that I haven't covered before. There's nothing here that should be new to anybody. And, you know, I'm just going to say it and get off of it, that I have people that support me on Patreon that also support these people. And it's like, can you find two channels that are more mutually exclusive from one another, that are more antithetical in terms of what they're espousing, where you have these collectivist, you know, soft totalitarians espousing fucking propaganda bullshit for progressive nonsense. And then you have my channel, which is completely opposite of this. Just the polar fucking opposite. Antithetical. I completely fucking disagree with every goddamn word espoused in this. And so we'll just start, okay? We'll just start, because I'll just show you, like, it's just propaganda. This is just a propaganda video. And it's like, if you support these guys, you know, it's your money. Spend it however you want. For those of you that do support them, that are backing me. But it's like, I don't understand why you support me. There's that. But it's like, why do you support them, bro? Why do you watch these videos? Apparently not many people do. When you have 129,000 views, and this is from several days ago, and this is your main series from your main, like, extra credits. This is what the channel's named after, is this kind of fucking video, this series. And it has 129,000 views. We have 1 million subscribers. What are they watching? But I digress. Let's watch this fucking cancer, this propaganda.
Games bring us together, not only as friends or family, but as peoples and nations.
Okay, stop. Stop. Like, there's already two things wrong with this. How do you facilitate communication in previous centuries? Answer, you don't. You don't. You can, but you don't, in terms of this aspect. So what you're talking about is Skype and Ventrilo and VoIP, which is extremely modern. 21st century, not 20th century, 21st century technology. That's what you're talking about. So when you make this about, oh, this is something that has always been this uniting factor, no. The answer is no, it hasn't been. You're wrong. So here's a second example of why you are wrong before we even continue on. As it relates to the Olympics, which I think you're going to use it as an example, it's not equitable to esports because there are plenty of self-described gamers that don't watch esports. I don't watch esports. I'm not a fan of esports. I don't care about esports. It's not as though I hate them. I just don't watch them. And there are plenty of gamers that don't watch esports. So already, I'm going to debunk that before you even make that example. Third point. First being communication is very modern. Two being that games don't unite anyone. And three is that, as I just laid out, people disagree. A good example in gaming is conventions versus not going to conventions or disliking conventions. I've talked to several self-avowed gamers that love conventions, and I know several gamers, including myself, that hate conventions, that don't want to go to conventions, that have criticisms of conventions. We're fucking 5 seconds in. 3 points already of disagreement. It's one of the things where if you just state something without evidence, I can just state the opposing view. Just say, nope, you're wrong. And I can quote anecdote. I can just say, I know this guy. And I do. And that's actually one more than what you're doing here. You're not actually citing fucking anything. You're just stating it.
Throughout history, they have served as a way for us to communicate and understand one another when all other forms of communication have broken down.
What do people playing The Sims have to do with people playing MMOs, have to do with people playing or RPGs, have to do with people playing first-person shooters? What do these subgroups have to do with one another, and do they get along? No. Are the communities different? Yes. Is the communication method in those different communities different? Yes. They're completely different. They may all involve gamers. They might involve people with that self-identify as gamers. That's it. That's all they have. They don't agree on politics. They don't agree on gaming. They don't agree on anything. There's nothing there outside of there's enough people there that agree that gaming is an important part of their life and they see themselves as a gamer. So to say that that's any kind of fucking uniting force is nonsense. Even if I were to grant you that your argument is correct about sportsmanship and athletics and all the rest, it's not an equitable comparison. Period. If you're going to make the case, state some fucking facts. Maybe I'm interrupting all the facts that are about to fucking flow out of this goddamn video. But no, I'm not. I already know where this is going to go, and I haven't even seen it, because this is every fucking video they produce. Every fucking one. And let's just continue. Let's see if it gets better.
Now, more than ever, we need that. Can the games of today still be used for this?
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is called a presuppositional argument. It's like I'm fucking trying to watch a goddamn Christian video. Okay? You can't just state what gaming is with no evidence, no qualifiers, no caveats, no information, nothing. Just from your position of authority, from behind a podium, just state what gaming is. And then say, well, can we then make it like it used to be? It's like, no, it's never been this. You are literally you created something that has not existed, that you can't back up with anything, and then are stating, that's what we need to return to. People pay these people to make these videos. It is propaganda.
Somewhere around 2,700 years ago, a group of young men gathered in the Peloponnese to run a foot race. For over 1,000 years, Greeks would gather at that site to compete, trade, talk, and be entertained. And over that 1,000 years, this simple foot race grew into a whole host of games which we now refer to as the Olympics. And this event served as far more than just a gathering for games. It grew to help create a cultural identity. It brought all the Greeks together, even during the toughest time.
Okay, and what fucking war did the Olympics prevent? And there's a big one that wasn't avoided. There's a really, really, really big one that wasn't avoided because of the Olympics. So, what argument are you even making? The Olympics have become a insanely fucking progressive fucking PC nightmare where it's like, yeah, we need to start allowing trans women as female athletes, and it's like, yeah, now it's all gonna go to shit. Now, there is no fair athleticism in the Olympics anymore. There's no ideal of the height of male athleticism or the talent of female athletes. There is a complete refutation of aesthetics, of traditional attitudes, of ideas of competitiveness. I mean, you people are the anti-competitive ideologues. You don't want there to be competition. You see competition as unfair because it doesn't result in the same outcome. There are winners and losers. And I understand, as someone on the left, that maybe we have to have a minimum for those economic failures. But in terms of sports, I don't care. You compete to see who wins and who loses. There should be nothing that is equal outcome in sports. But that isn't the narrative that these people push. This is not an example that you actually have any respect for. And two, name me the fucking conflict that the Olympics has actually prevented. Name me that fucking conflict that was avoided because of this one aspect of fucking culture in the world. So I just went off on a tangent a little bit about the fact of what's wrong with the Olympics as an organization and the money pouring into places and the corruption and all the rest. And how that just gets put aside for the sake of political correctness and fucking the mainstream narrative, which these people are not going to push up against. And it's not worth going into, but it's like the ideal of the Olympics and of athleticism and of the male form and of all the rest is like, you don't have any respect for that. That might be presumptive of me, but it's like, I already know you, bro. I already know this movement. I already know this ideology. I already know where everything goes. There's nothing new, so let's just move on.
Even during their incessant wars, here they could gather to express themselves and meet firsthand the people that they'd been fighting against. And in doing so, they had the opportunity to see their opponents as human beings rather than just some faceless foe.
Are you kidding me, man? Are you kidding me with this fucking revisionist bullshit? This whole notion of, well, we're gonna put our differences aside and come together because of... No, the fucking Greeks were as xenophobic as any other fucking nation. There is no nation in this world that was not xenophobic. There isn't one. It's only been in very modern history that people have let go of those kind of shackles. And there is a consequence to that, by the way. There is a good thing to actually have a difference with other people in this world. It could help Europe at this point to stand up and say, hey, you know what? We're going to stop letting these people in. They're different to us. Get the fuck out of here. That would help Europe. So this whole notion of, well, we need to just put our differences aside and accept people in, or accept people altogether despite whatever, it's like, that's not healthy. It's not. It's been tried and it has failed. Multiculturalism, and I'm quoting Merkel, has failed. Multiculturalism has failed, and it is a failure, and always will be a failure. I can accept certain things from foreign cultures into mine, but there are very clear exceptions. There are things that we as Americans, and we as whoever the fuck, we should not accept those things. We should not accept things that are completely antithetical to our existing culture and to the framework of our country. Any collectivist horseshit should not be accepted in the United States. We've always been a nation based on individualism, no matter whether it's our culture or whether it is our Constitution. We are an individualistic nation, and so we should be fighting in favor of that. And we should be expelling collectivist influences. We should be. I don't care what it is at this point. I think that nationalism should be something that we should be talking about right now. We should be talking about bringing it back, making it a thing again, making sure that we don't get overrun by foreign influences that are unhealthy, that are, aggressive and mean harm and are hostile to our country and to our culture, to our societies. Okay? We should be aggressively pursuing our national interests, whether it is Canada or the United States or the UK or, well, in the UK, but England and, Scotland, all the rest. My hope is that you get what I'm saying here, that we're going to have our differences. And my opinion is that's just going to have to be okay. We're just going to have to accept our differences, and it's only going to be from the capacity of you're over there, we're over here, and if we're over here in the United States within the fucking borders, you're not doing your bullshit in this country. You can rape kids, you can fucking throw gays off of roofs, you can do all the shit you want to do over there and do whatever fucking collectivist nonsense that you want to do. You want to practice socialism in Venezuela? Go ahead. But don't do it here. You're not doing it here. Do it over there, don't do it over here. And that should be the difference. And when people say, hey, I'm Venezuelan, I want to come into the United States, my answer is, okay, sure, but are you bringing in socialism? Yeah. No. Can't have you in here. And unfortunately, that seems to be the future. We're going to have to be bringing these things up again. That's the thing. I'm not saying have a written test for someone, are you a socialist? Yes, okay, you're expelled forever, but it's like, we have to be talking about these things. We have to be talking about what it means to be an American, what it means to be English, what it means to be French, what it means to be Swedish, what it means to be all these different countries before we're all overrun by toxic foreign influences. And we lose all of the things that made our nations great and special in their own unique ways before we lose it all in the interest of, well, let's be inclusive and let's be diverse. So long as fucking you're not in favor of anything but their culture, that's diverse.
And the right to attend these games was made sacred. No matter what war was in progress, it was sacrilege to lay hands on those attending these games. On at least some small scale, these games brought peace. And perhaps most of all, for just a moment, these games gave Greece a place where they could compete without violence, where rivalries and conflict could be expressed through physical prowess rather than the edge of a sword. These games ended under Roman rule, but 1,500 years after the last Olympic game took place, these ideas still held sway.
Again, like, this doesn't stop any conflicts. The Olympics never fucking stopped any war. Never. Name me a war that the Olympics fucking stopped. Now you're going to, you know what, people just dropped everything to do the Olympics. No, the Olympics never prevented a war. They never stopped a war. The Olympics are meaningless. They don't do anything. They don't bring anyone together. Fucking Hitler was just like, okay, guys, we need to stop. We need to stop everything. The Olympics have started. Put down your arms. We need to declare a truce. We need to get out of Poland. We need to just go to the Olympics. You're talking shit.
And so they were revived in the waning days of the 19th century. Throughout the 20th century, these games continued. Sometimes they would fail in bringing us together.
He even names it! He even names the example! The one example I said! With fucking Hitler! Oh, it's just the one time! Oh my god, you remember when we were about to go into Vietnam and fucking we're like, hold on, the Olympics is right around the corner, let's not go. You remember when the Olympics was right around the corner and we didn't go into Iraq twice? We didn't go into Afghanistan. We didn't go into was it the Balkans? I don't even remember. Where we didn't go into Kosovo, was that it? We didn't have the endless military actions that we've had. Where, like, any of the wars, just name a war in the fucking 20th century, okay? Fucking, we never had the Korean War, you know, like, what conflict has ever been prevented from the Olympics? Name one. Name one. Because this is fucking nonsense. This is so stupid. It is flat on its face false.
Like in the 1936 Olympics. Although, even there, they did show us the triumph of the human spirit, and the failure of racist ideology.
Are you fucking serious? Do you have any idea how many fucking people died in that war? Are you... It's like I'm watching a troll channel. It's like, yeah, the Olympics were so great, they proved Nazi ideology wrong. Then tell me why the ideology still exists and why we fought a massive fucking war. A war that ended. A war that ended with 2 atomic bombings.
At 10:58, the morning of August 9th, The bomb was exploded above the city, and in the towering mushroom, Japan could read its doom. This was more than a routine bombing. It was the funeral pyre of an aggressor nation.
That's how it ended! We annihilated people in the war. There was torture, there was starvation, there was disgusting fucking genocide. There was so much evil in that war, and none of it was prevented from the Olympics. None of it was prevented from all this bullshit you're talking. Jesus fucking Christ. We've proved Nazi ideology wrong. Oh my God.
And sometimes the Olympics would serve as a resounding success, like during the Cold War, where the Games served as a place where the superpowers could compete.
Bro, how many fucking proxy conflicts were there? Okay? Vietnam, Afghanistan. Those are the only two that I'm gonna name. The unbelievable shit that went on in both of those wars. I would argue that our war in Vietnam was obviously worse, although there's some crazy shit that happened in fucking Afghanistan with propping up awful people. That never had any consequences, did it? No, all of this, all of the things that happened in the Cold War, all of the terrible shit was prevented by the Olympics because we always competed. There were instances where we didn't participate and the Russians didn't participate and blah, blah, blah. No! Oh, the Olympics played such a big part in the fucking Cold War. Oh my fucking God.
Not by nuking each other into atomic slag, but by training and demonstrating the best that humanity could possibly offer.
What do you think Cuba was? Nothing to do with fucking the Soviet Union. Vietnam, nothing to do with the Soviet Union. Afghanistan and the Russian invasion, nothing to do with us and them. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. No proxy wars at all. Are you fucking kidding me with this? The Cold War was a war of proxy wars. It was not a direct conflict between the United States and Russia outside of limited instances. The Cuban Missile Crisis being one of the big ones, where it was a direct conflict with the Russians. It had to do with a proxy state of theirs, that being Cuba, but it involved those two factions. Outside of that, it's always been by proxy. And the Olympics didn't prevent any of it.
During the Cold War, the Games even opened up relations between China and the United States. Ping pong, of all things, was the path back to diplomatic relations between the most populous country in the world and the most wealthy one.
It had nothing to do with greed and corruption and corporatism. It had everything to do with cooperation. That's why we had normalized trade relations with China and all our jobs went over there. And now they have a booming economy that they don't know how to sustain. None of that had to do with fucking corporatism and the failures of neoliberal economics and all the rest. It was the Olympics that spurred it all on. Oh. And here I thought it was corruption. Oh, the Chinese government. The Chinese government. They were just sitting there and they're like, you know what? You know why we need to embrace a corporatism in our own nation and have crony capitalism out the ass and abandon all the communist aspects that we would otherwise have? It's the Olympics. That sold them.
Games have time and again been used to bring us together, to create a space where we share an experience, regardless of culture, nationality, religion, or any of the other factors we so often use to draw lines to divide us.
So I'm going to stop right there. The reason why there is no position for me to say like, oh, I don't want to play with you Jew, or I don't want to play with you woman, or I don't want to play with you black person. The reason why there is none of that in gaming is, one, we live in the 21st century, and gaming, video gaming, is a modern fucking thing. Very modern, especially with the ability to do multiplayer. Otherwise, you're just playing by yourself, which is, I mean, this presupposes multiplayer, which tells you something, again, about the fucking argument. But I don't know who's playing against me in fucking Grand Theft Auto. I don't know who's playing against me in Call of Duty. I don't know who's on this forum on The Sims or whatever, the EA forums or whatever the fuck, some other community. I don't know who I'm talking to. I don't know who I'm interacting with. It could be their avatar, if they have one, or they could be completely different to their avatar. We don't know. That's the beauty of it. It's about anonymity. You don't know, and you don't need to know. So how do you know who's a woman? How do you know who's black? How do you know who's a Catholic or a Protestant? How do you know? You don't. So this is some bullshit. This is some bullshit. This is just more of the same bullshit. Doesn't make any sense on its face. And why is it? Because you are propagandists. You are pushing a narrative. Bullshit for the sake of your ideology, despite the fact that what you're arguing has nothing to it. There's nothing here. Nothing here for you to argue. We're halfway through the 6-minute video, and it's all bullshit. Name me one thing so far that I can even concede from the argument. Every fucking thing is wrong. Everything. Why do you think I don't talk about these people?
So what about today? The games we have now are inherently connected, and almost as a matter of course, they see us playing with people from all around the globe. Shouldn't it be even easier to bring us together with these? It should be, and I have heard plenty of stories about times where it has been. One that always sticks in my mind came from a young woman James met at a convention who told him that she was never very concerned about international affairs.
Oh, she doesn't have to be, okay? She doesn't have to be. You don't need to give a shit about politics. You don't need to give a shit about... Because the fact is that, let's say that some shit is going wrong in fucking China, or Cuba, or Japan, or Venezuela, or where the fuck ever, okay? Let's say there's some bullshit going on over there, okay? It's up to the citizens of that nation to correct it. God damn, I'm so sick of this nonsense about everyone need to be concerned about international affairs. I need to care about what's going on in Sweden. I need to care about what's going on overseas. No, I don't need to. You know what I need to care about? My neighbors, my community, the cities that are near me, where they want to ship fucking refugees, quote unquote. You know, I need to be concerned about my area. My immediate area. That's what I need to be concerned about. And if we lived in a world where most people gave a shit about their own area, we live in a better world. But no, I need to care about what the fuck's going on overseas to whatever abstract degree that I even can in my own understanding. You know, I talk to people from the UK about UK politics, but I don't really care. You know, it's interesting to watch and interesting to debate and interesting to understand. I pay attention to it to the degree that I can, and I do listen to some of the people there, and I do concern myself with it because I do care to some degree, but I'm not there voting, so I don't really care. Okay? I can only care to the degree that I can understand what's going on, but I have no impact. So you caring about what's going on anywhere should be only to the degree that you can concern yourself with it in your immediate area. I don't want Muslims shipped into Buffalo to fuck my area up, as they have in every single other area in Europe that they have been introduced to. I don't want it here. That's why I care. That's why you should care about it. If you care about any issue of what's going on in France, what's going on in the UK, what's going on all across Europe, and everywhere where Muslims are, you should say to yourself, hey, I should concern myself with it because it could happen here. I don't want political correctness like it is in the UK happening here because it's fucking up their country to a real degree, a demonstrable degree. I don't want that here. I hope the best for everyone there in the UK. If you're listening to this and you're from there, good fucking luck to you. But I can only care to the extent to which I can even talk about it, to I even understand it. I can't vote in the UK. So what do you want me to do? What do you expect of me? And I know the people listening to this don't expect much. They just say, can you talk about this? You know, are you interested in this? Have you heard of this? And it's like, yeah, maybe this is interesting. Maybe I can talk about this. Maybe I can make it part of a stream. Maybe I can relate it to U.S. politics. But I can't change it. What do you fucking want? But no, this is the progressive attitude. You are imperialists. You want to socially change the world to reflect your ideology. This is where it's going to go. I already know where it's going to go. Why do you even care? When someone says, hey, I care about international fucking relations, it's like, oh, are you a political wonk? It's like, yeah. Well, why the fuck are you at a gaming convention talking about it?
That she just wanted to go to school and play her games and let the rest of the world sort itself out. But then one day, one of her World of Warcraft guildmates stopped showing up to raids. A week went by, then 2, and then she started asking around to see if anybody knew this person. Finally, she found out that they lived in Iraq. No one quite knew what happened to them, but she kept hearing that they had been caught in a blast from an IED. This was a wake-up call to her. She started to get involved, and by the time James met her, she was one of the senior staff for a congressional campaign.
I don't want to go as far as I would like to because I don't know enough, but it's just like, I imagine that this is somebody who's left-wing, they dropped everything, let's just say it's true, they became a senior staff member for a politician. It's very likely to be a Democrat, and it's like, okay, you got a good chance that this is somebody that's backed by, like, Lockheed Martin. It's like, I'm a progressive, and I'm working for a Democrat, and I'm so proud. And by the way, get somebody in here from Boeing. I need to take some checks. Because I'm so fucking motivated by how this person overseas was bombed. Oh, man, it's like, who are you going to be working for? You know, I can name a few politicians, but you know, I don't think that's who they're working for. I think they're working for a mainstream fucking Democrat. And they're probably on the phone every other day with Lockheed Martin and Boeing. What policies can we pass for you to get you to send us a big fat check to our PAC? I'm pretty sure that's most of what they're doing, if they are doing anything. Maybe they're the biggest Girl Scout in the world, and they're just full of idealism and everything else. But I don't know. I don't know. Politics changes people really quick. I've interacted with a fair few people in politics. It changes you. And so that's why I bring up Lockheed Martin and Boeing, because there's a whole lot of money flowing into the Democratic Party. Whole lot. And the Republican Party as well. So it's hard to escape that influence. And so you might be going in there saying to yourself, oh, I'm going to change the world and stop, foreign countries, my friends overseas getting bombed. But you might wake up one day going to meet with a representative of Boeing and them giving you a big fat check for your PAC. That might be where you wind up. So, because that's politics, baby. So let's just move on.
By just being exposed to one another, by interacting and learning about each other's lives, we can see the similarities between us and find compassion through sharing play. In our games, we can connect in a much realer way than by seeing some abstract statistic on the news, or, as is the case for many, by simply hearing the opinions of those around us.
Okay, so you're going to have a more personal interaction with somebody you've never met through a screen. And it's like, okay, what does this have to do with games? Like, you're going to be talking about international fucking relations, about geopolitics as you're playing Grand Theft Auto 5? I've had political conversations in games before, but they're not super productive. They're pretty, it involves a lot of memeing and a lot of, banter and bullshit. That's usually how it occurs. It's not very fucking serious. And even there, it's like, okay, if you want to have political conversations, you don't need games involved. Just go have political conversations. You're going to have a more intimate interaction with somebody in real life than you are, online. It's just a common communication. Yes, you can build relationships online, absolutely. You can build intimacy online, absolutely. But it's never going to, outdo the interaction you'd have in real life. It's just not. It's just not.
And in our modern world of esports, we may yet be able to carry this further, actually sending teams around the world to be watched by tens of thousands as they compete. By having exhibitions and competitions where our most famous esports stars engage with players from around the world and interact with them with respect and dignity, respect and dignity, respect and dignity.
When there are professional players who represent me and my hobby saying things like, I got totally raped, promoting that in the community as if that's an acceptable thing to say. The sexism and exclusivity and toxicity in gaming is fucking endemic. And it's gone on for way too long.
You think it should be better? In what fucking meaningful way? I can say words, spick, nigger, kike. I can say all these words. I can still vote in favor of progressive things. I'm a Bernie Sanders supporter. I've not only donated money to his campaign, I've donated money to the Green Party. I'm a ACLU member. I'm gonna say nigger and all these other words. You can't fucking stop me. I'm still gonna support all these left-wing things. All you fucking care about is censorship and control and trying to say what I'm allowed to say, trying to control how I speak, the jargon I use, the culture that I fucking belong to. No one has to listen to a single fucking word you say. And the fact that you sit there and think that you're in any way an authority, that you're in any way on any kind of fucking high horse or in a position to say a fucking word about how anyone else should act. You don't know anyone. You don't know anyone and what they're actually like, other than what you hear while they're talking shit on TeamSpeak or in-game. And you think because of that, because of bad experiences or perceived slights, that you're going to dictate to everyone else how they're going to fucking act and say that we need to shame people because they use bad words. They said they're going to rape this girl. Ah! Who gives a shit? Check the Supreme Court case, you cunt.
To change that, I want to appeal to esports. Pros, you hold more sway than you could possibly realize. You hold the keys to changing gaming culture.
What? What? Esports gamers? They can speak to the culture? Are you fucking kidding me? Fucking everyone makes fun of Major League Gaming. Everyone! I'm fine with it. I'm perfectly content with the fact that there are tons of channels that make fun of gaming, that make fun of Major League Gaming in every way, because I don't watch it. And I don't think very many gamers really take it all that seriously, even if they do watch it. But the fact that you think that these, like, fucking Mountain Dew up Doritos fucking salesmen are gonna have fucking anything to say to anybody? You think that's gonna hold any fucking sway with any fucking gamer? Even, especially the most hardcore fucking gamers. The most hardcore fucking PC gamers are gonna listen to these guys? Are you fucking kidding me? What are you talking about? This says to me that you aren't a gamer, that you have no fucking idea what you're talking about. The fact that you think esports gamers are gonna say to people, I play esports. I like to play scrim matches, and I do so many hours a day, and I do so for money. I like to show for products like Mountain Dew, but also Doritos and other products. You should listen to what I have to say. Don't say the word rape online. That isn't acceptable in gaming culture anymore. Create a fucking PSA campaign where you have esports gamers talking about what words are appropriate to say while online in total anonymity. Give me a fucking break.
We can connect to people and cultures we might never otherwise get to interact with. We can come to understand them, not as foreign, but as human.
So is this about video games or is this about esports? And is this you trying to propagandize, listen guys, you need to take over esports, we need to influence esports, we need to take over the corporate fucking influence, we need to take over them, make sure they push our fucking propaganda, make sure they're virtue signaling. Is that what you're after here? Like, go for it. I don't even give a shit. I don't even care. I don't watch esports. Go ruin it. Go make it unprofitable. Virtue signal garbage. Go do it. I don't even fucking care.
In all of the ways that they are both similar and unique. And with professional players being traded across borders and with all regions being watched internationally, we can create heroes and sports stars who don't look or sound like us, who young people can look up to regardless of what nation they're from.
Okay, so you want conservatives in esports. That's what I'm hearing. You want there to be just scores and scores and scores of conservatives flowing into gaming, having oversight over games, producing games, writing games. You want conservatives everywhere. I want to hear it from you. I want conservatives in video games. That's what I want to hear from you. Not, I want diversity in games. Because diversity appears to just be a code word, generally used as anti-white and anti-Western. That appears to be what diversity is. Are you Western? You're not diverse. Are you white? You're not diverse. Are you a Arab fucking Muslim who wants to permeate your fucking 7th century fucking dogma onto fucking everyone? You're diverse. Come on in. Come on, have a say. You know, are you wearing a burqa because it's your choice and not because it's you're a fucking liar trying to permeate your fucking toxic ideology? Come on in. Give her a mic. Are you a conservative that disagrees with every fucking horseshit that's ever been said by this fucking limp-wristed cocksucker at Extra Credits? Is that who you're backing there, buddy? I don't think so. I don't think you're going to be calling for more conservatives in Silicon Valley, in gaming, or anywhere, let alone esports. Nowhere. You're a liar. you're a liar. What you're trying to do is introduce this concept as something, as a gateway to be let in, to let the floodgates open to all the fucking ideologues to come in to destroy esports, or whatever it is that you're referencing here, because you bounce around. Let's just say esports. You're just a fucking ideologue. This is just propaganda. Because again, I'm saying, do you want more white conservative men giving their opinion, getting the mic, and saying, I voted Donald Trump and here's why, at esport conventions or competitions or fucking whatever? Is that what you want to see more of? No. No, you don't. You want to see more of what you believe, because you're a fucking liar and an ideologue. And transparently so.
But for all of this hope, there is still a downside. Everybody watching this knows that online spaces can just as easily swerve to reinforce stereotypes and serve as gathering points for the bigoted and the closed-minded.
That's right. I'm here, baby, representing the closed-minded, bigoted, bile-spewing fucking haters. And I'm a gamer too, baby. I'm out here spreading my fucking toxic Western chauvinism or individualism or whatever else, saying like, hey, I think conservatives should be given a chance. All that hate, all that closed-mindedness. I'm on the left and I think that fucking conservatives are being run out of every industry. Fuck yourself.
Where in the past, professional athletes competed with one another as professionals, with sportsmanship and dignity, today we take the competition directly into our own hands, sometimes foregoing that mutual respect that comes from two professionals competing at the top of their craft.
I like showboating. You know, not everyone does, but it's part of athleticism or competition, however you want to put it. Probably competition as it relates to fucking gaming. But it's like, even there, it's like people don't agree. You know, I understand that you want to have this, you know, this position of, you say dignity, but it's like political correctness. It's like you go there, you say, hello, I'm glad that I won this. I am in favor of black women receiving reparations from people that did nothing wrong. I am in favor of women, white women, there being more of them in tech, even though they don't want to and they don't know nothing, and it's just ideologues that can't do the job flowing into these fucking positions. And there's all kinds of evidence to say that we have clear problems in the industry, not because of sexism, but because of fucking affirmative action going to these people. I support that. I hate Donald Trump. I think he should be assassinated. I think there's nothing wrong with political violence unless it's used against me. Then I am completely opposed to it and should be silenced and whatever else. I'm against free speech. I think that it is bigoted to use free speech or to advocate for it. I think all speech is hate speech, and if I speak, then it's not. Please give me money, corporations that buy into these lines that are run top to bottom from progressive ideologues that believe it's the same things that I do, which is all good. Thank you for the money.
Private competition can just as easily devolve into toxicity and counterproductive antagonism. If we want to use this incredible tool to its utmost...
We. No, who? You. Okay? Shut the fuck up. Go make a fucking game. Make the game and then do that. But you don't do that. You make these videos. That's the you. So there is no we. Fuck off. God.
If we want to use this incredible tool to its utmost, we have got to be more vigilant against this. As an industry, we have got to more carefully curate the spaces we create, and give our players the tools necessary to build communities. And as individuals, we need to be ready to reach out to those that we encounter in our games that come from around the globe, to be that welcoming voice, to learn just a little bit more about them, even if it's just learning what brings them to our server.
So then fucking go build them! Go do the work! God fucking damn! Go make your fucking economic failure fucking progressive games. Go make your fucking games. Go make your own communities. Go fucking elsewhere. But you don't do that. It's never the case. Progressives always infiltrate and take over existing communities. You always do this. We want you, I want you, to go the fuck away. Go do whatever the fuck you want to do elsewhere. You want to start a progressive, politically correct fucking esports team? Go do it. Go do your own fucking thing. That's what all of us have been screaming about for years. But you refuse to do it, and you are a fucking liar. You want to take over existing franchises, existing industries, existing companies, existing teams. You want to take over them and make them conform to your worldview. That is what you have always done. And every time you do it, it doesn't work. So fuck off.
And of course, I'm not saying that professional sports are perfect either. Gender balance and sexuality and a whole host of major issues still persist, even in the Olympics, where they've had a committee specifically built to address problems like these since the 90s.
You may have fooled the others, Mr. Peterson, but you don't fool me.
If I fooled the others?
But you don't fool me.
I don't?
No, you don't.
You fucking kidding me? Are you fucking... Oh my god. And this, again, just comes right out. Just boom. Boom. Just lays it out. Here it is, baby. It's all about this. It's all about the fucking progressive propaganda. Not about anything else. I hope you guys weren't fooled. It's this.
Gender balance and sexuality and a whole host of major issues.
Progressive propaganda. Again, I want to hear it from this fucking cocksucker. Let me hear it. I want to hear more conservative voices in gaming. That's what I want to hear from him. I want more conservatives. Because you gotta fucking just admit that you're not in favor of diversity. You're not in favor of inclusion. You're not in favor of all the bullshit you're pushing. You want ideological and social hegemony. You want there to be a monoculture in gaming of social exclusion of conservatives, or at least anyone that does not immediately default to the existing progressive narrative. That is what you are actively pursuing. That's what this video is propagandizing in favor of. And that's all it is. That's all it needs to be. You continue to lie. It doesn't work anymore. It's so transparent and obvious that I can't imagine the dumbest fucker in the world falling for it. So just give it up. Just give it up. It's not working. It doesn't work. You're full of shit and everyone can fucking see it. That's why right now you have articles like this, which I want to talk about on a stream, where people are just like, yep, we're not winning. The progressive narrative is failing. It's stalling out. People have woken up to the fact that what we're pushing is nothing but a fucking series of lies to hope to dupe well-meaning people to believe us and get fucked in the end. As we have in every, whether it's atheism or gaming or whatever else, every time we have listened to the progressives, we have been fucked because of it. So my position is, and I think anyone who's rational to any degree, anyone who's sensible at a minimum, to say to any progressive, no, fuck off. You're the bigots. You're the fucking ostracizers. You're the fucking assholes. You're the people that should be excluded. Because the second you get let in, you become fucking totalitarian. The second you have any power, you use it to beat others with. Every single time it's happened, you follow the same path. So my answer is, nope, fuck off.
And yes, I admit that I'm painting a very optimistic picture here. But we have been handed an incredible tool in online gaming, and we can use this tool that we all enjoy so much to communicate, to create shared experiences, and through doing so, to foster understanding.
What I love about ideologues is they can never just allow something to be. They see it through the lens of power politics. They see, here is something we don't control. Here is something that we can use to expand our reach and to use to propagandize others to believe as we already do. So we see gaming as an opportunity to be a platform for our politics, for our positions. We don't control it all yet. And that's the problem. This is a tool we should control. We should use this tool as a blunt club to beat our ideological enemies with. And we don't have that yet. We don't have the club. We don't have the club, so what we need to do is to lie and to propagandize and to soothe people with their bullshit and tell them what they want to hear and say, we're in favor of diversity. You're not a racist, are you? We want diversity and inclusion. It might be that we have to, boom, exclude you, but maybe you're not that person. You're not a bigot, are you? Well, if you're not, you'll join us. And then as soon as we're in, boom, then we take over the institution. Then we bring in all of our fucking fellow cronies, our useless fucking drones. We bring them into the companies. Every position we can fill with a fucking ideologue and a shill and a fucking, just a cynical fucking toady of ours that we can stuff into a position who's otherwise useless. We do that till we have full control. Then it doesn't work and collapses. Name me one instance where this hasn't happened. Name me a company, a dev team, anything. Name me anything where this has happened and the consequence hasn't been that this has completely failed. And that it wasn't the case where you have immediate bringing in of cronies and the ostracizing of anyone that does not agree with the immediate progressive narrative, whatever today is. If you don't agree with today's narrative, you're gone. You're a bigot. We're going to make up a bunch of bullshit about you being a fucking rapist and fucking come after you. That is what these people do. And that's what you want this for. It's a blunt instrument for you to use for your own interests. It's nothing else.
It is just on us to reach out. See you next week.
So that's it for this. Thanks for listening. Mr. James Portnow and Daniel Floyd, kill yourselves. Go fuck yourselves. I don't believe your propaganda. No one else should. You shouldn't be getting a cent for this fucking horse shit. And it looks like no one's watching. I know I'm small, and no one's watching me either. But I don't have 1 million subscribers, and I don't have the illustrious position of, oh, I'm this person that tells you how it is. I don't presume to do that. I don't presume to know whatever about fucking whatever. But you do. You're somebody worth recognizing. You're important in-game, and you have something to say. Can't we be better? Can't we use this tool to our ends? Fuck you. And that's the end of this video. Thanks for listening.